Well, Ziggy, September 14th, 10:54 p.m. Season ended. Football season ended for me and you. Notre Dame misery. Vikings misery. Every year we look forward to this, and as we're watching the final minute bleed off the clock here in what is just nothing short of an utter catastrophe of a game against the Atlanta Falcons, I have a hard time not reflecting on this weekend with anything other than a sense of doom for the rest of this year. Welcome into the Paul Farrington Show. Paul Farrington, Robert Ziggy Ziegler joining you for a very different reaction from last Monday night, in which the Vikings had the unbelievable 21-point fourth quarter comeback against the Chicago Bears. Tonight, not so much, as the Vikings fall 22-6, although I wouldn't be surprised if the Falcons ripped off a 90-yard touchdown just for shits and giggles at this point, to the Atlanta Falcons. All week, Ziggy, I was so excited for J.J. McCarthy week 2. After the surge against the Bears to come back and win, only to be treated to a 2-interception, fumble, 11 for 21, 158-yard performance, sacked 6 times by the Falcons defense that has the least sacks in the league since 2019. No double-digit sack player since, when was it? Since 2016? No, 2016, the last time they had double-digit sacks for a player. Now, of course, they added nice additions this offseason, but just an utterly miserable night for the Vikings. People are going to be really happy watching this, and I understand that that's part of the deal with this show, is that the sadder we are, the happier other people are. But what are your initial thoughts on this before we dive into the game?
As everyone knows, about a month ago, I bought a green and gold jersey with the number 0.
Stop. I didn't
realize that 0 was going to be the number of good games J.J. McCarthy would have this season. This is terrible. Like, I don't even know what to say here. Xavier Watts, the guy who carried our hopes and dreams for years and brought Notre Dame to the promised land, just stabbed us in the heart at the end of that game. J.J. McCarthy, who looked like he might have been turning the corner. We're talking with Andy Herman. Oh, look, he's shown that he's the guy. That's what just happened.
Saying. You just fumbled the punt, and we fumbled the punt. When it rains,
did we do a single thing right this game? Like, this is the thing. If it was just J.J. McCarthy, like, we've got fans in here, and I understand what they're saying. They're saying, look, J.J. McCarthy, he's one of those guys who, like, he can take care of business. He'll get better as the year goes on. We're going through 2 different stages of being a Vikings fan right now, Paul. There's the you and there's the me. I'm just talking because I'm pissed. You just can't talk. But it's like everything is bad. The defense is bad. The offensive line is bad.
The defense did the best it could. The defense did the best it could tonight.
It wasn't enough. I mean, they needed to ice the game, and they let Bijan Robinson break 3 tackles.
I know. I know it was bad. I know it was bad. But here's okay. We're going to take 2 different approaches.
Primarily their fault. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying this sucks.
Okay. We're going to take 2 approaches here, Ziggy. The first one that I want to say is, as far as I understand that we came on the Monday night show, we came on the show today, and what did we preach? What have we preached this entire season so far? You cannot overreact, right? We said you cannot overreact to 1 week when you get super high. You cannot react too low in certain weeks when you have a performance like this. I will say, though, with that said, watching the Vikings over the first 2 weeks of the season, there have been 8 quarters of play. 7 of those quarters, we have been the worst offense in the NFL. And I don't think it's particularly close. Through 7 of those quarters, we have 12 points. Did Bijan outgain us on the night?
He might have.
Bijan ended with 143 rushing yards. He had 25 on the ground, so he went for 168. The Vikings as a team,
198.
So all right. So at least we can have a little bit of dignity in that Bijan didn't single-handedly outgain us. But the Vikings offense has been putrid. Now, there are a variety of factors to this, okay? First off, J.J. McCarthy, really bad tonight. His awareness was down. He missed a couple big throws. Naylor was wide open late in the game down the left sideline. Probably would have been a touchdown on a 3rd and 2 play that could have kept us in the game. JJ was just off. He didn't look good. He did not have any. What I was so excited about, and I understood that with the fourth quarter performance against the Bears, you also had to have an understanding of what the first 3 quarters were. But obviously, there's that stupid hope that I always hold on to that maybe he turned the corner. And I didn't think it was going to be guns away, like fire away tonight, but I did expect some more downfield shots. I mean, Justin Jefferson ended the night with 6 targets, and 2 of them came on the final drive. Unacceptable. Completely unacceptable. So JJ,
but when we targeted Justin Jefferson, we couldn't get the ball to him anyway.
Yeah, and that's the bigger issue of the night. So forget JJ, who I don't know. My faith in JJ McCarthy is all over the place. Second game ever, can't go too crazy.
Yes, you can.
Here's
a stats over his first 2 starts: 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 9 sacks. Oh, you can throw in 50 rushing yards if you want. Yeah, sure. Like, that's most quarterbacks that turn out to be decent NFL players start out better than that.
It's going to be a long season. It's going to be a really, really long season. This has been one of the worst football weekends of my life. Straight up. Last night, Ziggy and I were at the Notre Dame game, losing on the final play. It's just every year, man. You know what? I'm sorry. It's not every year, because I realized tonight at 10:54 when I called the football season officially for me and you, I realized that last year was so good with the 14-3 year. Forget the ending, okay? Forget how horrible it ended. 14-3, Notre Dame in the Natty, just amazing. I realized that there had to be a trade-off, and that this year is going to just be brutal across the board. ND, horrendous. Vikings, horrendous. And the defense did all they could. I know we want to get on the defense, but the defense was down a bunch of dudes. We'll get to them in a second. The biggest problem for the Vikings tonight, the offensive line was miserable. And there are excuses. You can point to School was in, then the Roofs was in, right? I didn't even see who. Our third string left tackle came in, with Darisaw being out. They got owned all night. Ryan Kelly left the game, and Juergens came in and got absolutely obliterated. So that impacted JJ having 6 sacks and being forced to get the ball out early, and got a little jittery. Offensive line performs like that. It's atrocious. But this Falcons pass rush that they talked about all night, and the revamped Falcons pass rush with Leonard Floyd and James Pierce Jr. and Jalen Walker, who we love Jalen Walker coming out of the draft. This is the difference week 1 to week 2, okay? Week 1 against the Buccaneers, this Falcons defense, 2 tackles for loss. Let me just make sure I get this right here. Two tackles for loss, 3 QB hits, and 1 sack. Tonight against the Vikings, that same Falcons defense, 11 QB hits, 5 tackles for loss, and 6 sacks.
This is the thing.
The biggest thing tonight.
You can talk about the left tackle, the center, the wide receiver too, whoever being out. JJ McCarthy looks completely over his head. The guy who came and everyone's saying, like, this is what you were saying, Paul. Here's what we can know of JJ McCarthy. We know we're getting a guy who's poised, who's confident, who can operate the offense. Now, maybe there'll be some growing pains, but we know we're getting a guy who can take care of business. Yeah. He's been on the bench for a full year, right? This is not the Minnesota Vikings throwing out their rookie quarterback week 1 like the Titans did to Cam Ward, where he's completely overwhelmed in Denver with a brutal defense on the road. He's had a whole year to sit and learn this offense.
He wasn't practicing. He wasn't on the field.
This isn't a new offense to him. I get that he wasn't on the field. He should not be completely overwhelmed seeing game action.
But no, there's so much.
It looks like he doesn't know what he's supposed to do on these plays.
No, and that's not good. But I do think not being on the field is a big contributor to that. It can't just we can't just get on him. We can't get on him and say he should know this offense inside and out and be perfect on the field. He's gonna have growing.
Be a little better than this.
When you're playing with 2 backups, 1 third string offensive lineman, and you're in your second career game ever, it's understandable to have some issues. But what's so annoying to me is that I was really hoping in that 4th quarter against Chicago, I was like, maybe he figured it out. Maybe and JJ has some nice throws. It's not like tonight was a complete disaster across the board, but it's just like they couldn't string anything together. And you saw it how many times did we have 3rd and 1? Oh my God, dude. How many years of 3rd and 1 is it going to be? 4th and 1. Forget who it is. It's Kirk under center, Darnold, McCarthy. And we can't get, I'm not going to curse. I came close right there.
I'm
not going to.
Single yard.
We can't get a single, great. We can't get a single yard. I mean, we lost a yard on a quarterback sneak. Has anyone ever seen that in the chat right now? Has anyone ever seen a yard lost on a QB? At least you're neutral. I guess he fumbled. Yeah, people are probably going to mention that. But we've had years of this where it's 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, and we just get blown up on the line. And you're seeing the Falcons' bad plays are going for 3-4 yards where they're spinning. And Bijan's awesome. By the way, Bijan, he's got to pick a name. I'm sorry. Like, he comes out and he says it's pronounced Bijan. And then they show him in the Sunday Night Football where our good friend Caroline Pineda was probably taking the names. And he's like, goes, Bijan Robinson. It's Bijan or Bijan. We got to pick one. I understand that Bijan's amazing, but Falcons plays were going for 3 or 4 yards, and it felt like us. We were just getting stonewalled at the line. Like, where's the new lines for the Vikings? Where's the push? It's just someone's got to have it. Can we go to the right side and go to Fries and O'Neal? Like, Donovan Jackson looked worse tonight. The offensive line was just a complete and utter disaster. That doesn't help JJ in any means. Hopefully next week we have Cincinnati coming in. You would think with Joe Burrow out that we'd be able to beat the Bengals next week, but I don't know because Jake Browning kicked our ass a couple of years ago in Cincinnati. So Ziggy is left. Ziggy, I wonder if Ziggy is just left the stream because of the rant, or if he's actually upset. I'm not sure, but I'm imagining that he crashed out here. He says he'll be back in 2 minutes. All right, Ziggy should be back. So.
I'd say it's just typical that after everything that's gone wrong,
you crashed
the computer
out.
just crashes.
You actually crashed out. All right, yeah, I'm sorry for the rant. I'm sorry for the rant, but I was just so fed up with the offensive line play, and we'll have to make sure. Yeah, everyone here is like Ziggy was never real. I was just really fed up with the offensive line play and the defensive line not getting any push. We had how many pressures did we have tonight?
Did we have any? I sure didn't see any.
I'm trying to. Sorry, I got all these different tabs pulled up right now. We had. Let me go to the box score. Tonight, the Vikings had 3 sacks, 5 QB hits. They turned it up a little bit towards. I know Grenard had the big sack. They had a couple big sacks. Turner had one that, Penix was holding the ball a long time, and Turner cleaned it up. But it just. One more thing before I kick it over to you, okay, is. The defensively, I know that they had their struggles. I thought they did a good job keeping Atlanta at bay. It was bend, don't break for most of the night. And just like there's on offense, right? Addison's out, Kelly was out, Darrisaw's out. Those are big names. Those are really important names to the Vikings. Same thing can be said defensively, where Andrew Van Ginkel was out, Harrison Smith was out, Blake Cashman was out, Grenard was hurt for a period of time. He came back in the game. Okudah was out. These are high impact players that the Vikings were missing. Now, I don't want people to think that this is like coping and excuses. They didn't play well tonight, but the Vikings as a team should be like there were 6 or 7 high impact players for this Minnesota Vikings defense and offense that were not on the field tonight. That should help coming back, but I'm not going to try and make something out of nothing here. If JJ McCarthy plays like that, we're going nowhere this year. And the goal of this season is to have JJ playing good football at the end of the year, right? I mean, we want, like, by the end of the year, we want him looking like a franchise quarterback. So I'm going to try. I know I've had a little bit of a freak out. I'm going to try to keep a reasonable approach to this game that a lot of dudes are out, second career start. It should be better. But my hope after Chicago was, all right, if we could come out and have some fire to us, why don't, like, we're clearly a tier below Green Bay and Detroit, but maybe we can push them. At least, like, a chance. You know what I mean? And after watching this, I'm like, oh, my God, if we go into Green Bay, Micah Parsons is going to have 17 sacks. So
good NFL teams find a way to deal with injuries. The Cincinnati Bengals in, like, the first quarter lost Joe frickin' Burrow, and they managed to find a way to win the game. Now, look, I understand what you're saying. Those absences are important. Maybe they would have made a difference. They don't make the difference we saw this game. What we saw this game was a team that was fundamentally inept on offense. Like Jordan Mason, 3.3 yards a carry behind a failing offensive line. JJ McCarthy, 3 turnovers. I don't think any of those were really anyone's fault but his own. I wasn't looking at those turnovers and saying, you think back, everybody saw that Patrick Mahomes interception, right? That Travis Kelce messed up. That wasn't how J.J. McCarthy was getting his interceptions. Mm-hmm. J.J. McCarthy was getting his interceptions by making bad throws.
Yeah.
I mean, Justin Jefferson had a nice play. But, like, there's nothing good to say about this offense. And that's not an issue of our center being out. That's not an issue of our left tackle being out. That's an issue of this team not being good. No, I understand they were good last year, so you want them to be
No,
good this year.
I
Get
get
it.
that. No, I get what you're saying, but dude, school was really bad, and Jurgens was really bad. Like that doesn't help.
Figure it out.
McCarthy was also bad, but look, at the end of the day, if you're allowing these dudes to get to him in 2 seconds, there's not much we can do. If we can't run the football, which how many yards did we end up rushing tonight? We had 78
Mason
rushing
had
yards.
30. Yeah.
Yeah, like
we
couldn't run.
JJ McCarthy ones. Aaron Jones had like 20.
Yeah, so if you get rid of JJ's 25, we had 53 rushing yards tonight. I mean that doesn't do that can't be it. The offense was horrible, and I'm not gonna. I mean, I called the season. I guess I called the season 10-54 as far as like really having high hopes for what we maybe being going on a playoff run. And I know that all the Packer fans in here are gonna say that was unreasonable to begin with, but sue me. I'm trying to be optimistic. Okay.
Well, I'll say this. I will say this. You've got a lot of people in here saying we should have kept Sam Darnold. The reason we got rid of Sam Darnold is because Sam Darnold would have had exactly the same struggles this game.
Disagree. Complete disagreement.
Once the offensive line started failing, Sam Darnold would have floundered.
Yeah, but I think yeah, obviously Sam doesn't handle pressure particularly well in some big games, but Sam was great last year, and Sam was good today as well. Sam Darnold's a good quarterback.
Well, yeah, because right now Seahawks offensive line has gotten a lot better.
But right now, JJ McCarthy is not a good quarterback. JJ McCarthy right now has some moments, but we've had 7 putrid quarters, as everyone has made clear with us here in the comment section. I think Sam Darnold tonight, with Sam Darnold, we win this football game. That's my prediction. And if we have Sam Darnold, we're probably 3-0 against the Bengals. Now, does that necessarily mean at this point in time we should say the Vikings should have kept Sam and given him a big deal, or that we should have kept Daniel Jones, who is now 2-0 and looking really good in Indianapolis? Big win over the Broncos today. Congratulations to Daniel Jones, who I feel happy for Daniel. No, that doesn't necessarily mean the wrong decision was made. It just means at this point in time, we have a lot of growing to do with JJ. And I do think that he's one of those dudes who is mentally tough enough to take this to the chin. He's going to go up on the podium and say the right things. And at some point, it moves beyond just saying the right thing and performing well on the field. But right now, it's still too. I would be being very unfair and hypocritical if I came out tonight and just said JJ McCarthy sucks. We made a horrible decision. That's crazy of me to say, given every other piece of media that we've put out on this show. So it's a horrible loss. I feel terrible, and I am willing to say at this point in time, I have a very difficult time seeing this Viking team make any noise this year. Maybe they can be pesty, but it's week 2. This chat is just going to be so. JJ or Caleb right now? Back to the Andy Herman question.
They both suck.
Oh,
Josh
man.
Dobbs.
It's Josh Dobbs. Now, I was so excited for tonight, man. I the past 24 hours of football have been brutal, but I guess, you have your ups and downs, right? Like last year was great. We had so many unbelievable wins. Notre Dame was undefeated. They can't all be good. They can't all be fantastic. But what I would say is if you were like in the chat, neither. I'll say right now in the NFC North, if you zoom out on it, this is a very clear 2-horse race between the Lions and the Packers. And I know the Packers fans think that they are a tier above Detroit right now. I know you think that about Green Bay. But I think this is going to be a bloodbath of a race to the finish. And when they play again, which I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, anyone, but it is Thanksgiving, right? That they play. Let me just see. I think it's the Thanksgiving game.
It's the Thanksgiving game.
Man.
1 o'clock.
Man, that's going to be good. And both of these two are right there with Philly, to me, as the top tier Super Bowl contenders. So, yeah, look, a bounce back next week against Cincinnati would be great if we're sitting there at 2-1. But at this point in time, there's a big gap between the Vikings and any of the playoff caliber teams at this point in time, right? If they go again, I don't know who we can score with. The Falcons kicked field goals all night.
Before I get to what I think, I'm going to remind folks, if you're watching this, we've got almost 3,000 people in here right now. Please subscribe if you like watching us suffer. Based on how from this performance tonight, there's going to be a lot of live suffering reactions from us. So there'll be a lot. We're closing in on 23,000, trying to hit 25,000 soon. We appreciate all of you. But you're not going to want to hear this, Paul. I know you're not going to want to hear this, but my mind just goes back You know who else was an NFC North starting quarterback coming after sitting on the bench behind a quarterback who had been pretty successful, started out 1-1?
Jordan Love.
Yeah, but you know what he did? He threw for 6 touchdowns in his first 2 games. He, like, you could see on the field that there was something there. And I get that JJ McCarthy had an exciting fourth quarter against the Bears defense. But after what we saw from Detroit today, don't those first 3 quarters of rot against the Chicago Bears just look worse if it's so easy to go up and down the field and score on them?
Yeah, no, no, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. But to be fair, Jordan was also in year 4. He'd been there for a while. JJ again coming off the end. This is its second career start. Like it's second career start, year 2 coming off of meniscus. Yeah, the encouraging thing for JJ
I don't want to hear
supporters.
about the knee.
The
This
encouraging
isn't a knee injury
the encouraging
problem.
things for JJ McCarthy. No, but the knee injury kept him out for a year, and that's. Look, you're adjusting to the NFL. Obviously, this is a bad performance tonight. Like JJ, if the Vikings are ever going to do anything, JJ McCarthy needs to have more than 158 yards. And he can't throw 2 interceptions. He can't fumble. His passer rating can't be 37.5. That's going to get us nowhere. But we can't come out in week 2 and say he sucks.
I look, I'm not saying that he's going to be bad forever, that he's a garbage quarterback. Like that's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is just like, this was really bad. This didn't look like rookies getting his feet wet. This looked like guy is totally out of his league.
Yeah, tonight it did. It looked like that. And moving forward, we have Cincinnati coming up. Then we have Pittsburgh and the Browns International. Those are 3 very winnable games. Those are 3 games that if JJ McCarthy looks really bad, we have a bit of a problem.
I'll say it right now. We're 0-3 in those games.
Not necessarily. I think at home we should be able to beat Jake Browning. The Steelers. Look, the defense has to.
We're not beating the Steelers.
We can beat the Steelers, and we can beat the Browns.
Aaron Rodgers is getting revenge. This Browns
Dude,
team
you forget.
is good.
We don't. What?
We're going to talk.
What about the
it.
Browns? The Browns also made 30 points today. I'm not. Don't say that.
We're going to talk about this when we get to the react. My advanced numbers say that the Browns actually had a pretty good performance today, and it was high variance stuff we shouldn't expect. The Ravens deserved to win that game. There's no doubt. But the Browns kept it very close until the fourth quarter where they started getting unlucky. Paul, the Vikings do not get lucky. We are not going to get lucky in a football game. That's not what happens to us.
I think there is a real world that the Vikings can win all 3 of those games. Obviously, there's a world we can lose all 3 of those games. What I'm saying is you flush this one. It's the closer mindset. You have to move past it, right? You just have to. And we move on to 3 AFC North games against teams. Bengals, let's do 1 week at a time. It's Belichick. We're on to Cincinnati, right? That's what it has to be. And you go get a win there and you move forward. But JJ needs to be better. And part of that means Kevin O'Connell needs to be better too. Now, I know he's limited when you're dealing with the backup lineman and you're missing your number 2 receiver. Yes, there are some limitations that come with that. I thought KOC was not at his best tonight at all. And I thought one of the worst examples of that was the goal line, 1st and goal from the 2. Mason had been having success on the ground during that drive. And all of a sudden, we're throwing the football again. And then we had the delay of game that was kind of weird with the ref standing over the ball. But it just felt like in certain situations we were throwing when we should pass when we should throw. It just was bad. It was bad all around. And you saw tonight, for the first time in a while with the Vikings, that look of just utter defeat. And we had been like, we're typically that team that comes out and, always find a way. And I think that they kept that up until the fourth quarter. But we can never get anything going. And you have to get Justin Jefferson more involved. You saw the Bengals today, right? Joe Burrow goes down. They force feed Jamar Chase. He had 14 receptions, but Joe Burrow's not there. Everyone always wants to make the argument about how great Chase is. If you're arguing for another receiver, you go, but he is Joe Burrow. Today he didn't. But the Bengals did a great job getting him the football. When you have a stud, I was watching the game tonight, Ziggy, and when Bijan's running all over the place, I thought to myself for a second, man, it'd be nice to have someone like that. And then I went, oh my God, we had Justin Jefferson. We're not even using him. So I was just really bummed out with the performance. A lot of people here are obviously happy, but it was a bad game for us. Before we'll hit some of the super chats, but again, please remember, yes, if you're watching, We really would appreciate a subscription from everyone. We're almost at 23,000. We're about 30 people away. So
we can hit it right now.
If you haven't subscribed to the channel, it would mean a lot to us if you did. And we have some lofty goals for the season. We'd like to get to 50,000. So if you're watching, just throw it a sub. We'd really appreciate that. But we appreciate everyone as well for being in the chat and having some, I guess we could say, fun.
I appreciate
chat's having
basically fun. Everybody on this planet who's not named JJ McCarthy.
Oh, stop it! Come on, we're not going to be those fans who completely turn on their team. We cannot be those fans.
You're right.
At the end of the day, Ziggy. At the end of the day,
it's just a game. I'll be
no, you can't drop the. It's just the.
I'll get back into objective analysis mode of Andy.
My theory with sports is when you say it's just a game, that is when you're at your lowest of lows.
You know what it actually is? It's not. I haven't gotten over the A&M loss yet, and how heartbreaking that was to be in that stadium and watch that go down the way it did.
No,
the fact that happened twice, that's brutal.
My phone just has from our dear friend Evan, big Packers fan. Paul, what happened? Will, who is a big Viking fan, smacked in the effing teeth. But here was the most crushing thing of the evening for me, even beyond the Viking. Actually, no, the Vikings was worse. But dear friend of the show, Tom Monroe, as we've all heard him before, big Lions fan. If you're a Lions fan, let us know in the chat right now. Go ahead, give a little one pride or whatever you guys say. Great win today. Congratulations. Not really happy for you, but a little bit for Tom Monroe. Tom Monroe on this day, this is unbelievable, guys, had a free bet, and decided
and
to
we're not sponsored.
Yeah, we're not sponsored. So I'm not going to say who, but he had a free bet, $25, and he had a little bit of an odds boost, I think, on this. For plus 41,569 on the odds. Tom had picked 12 out of 12 games correct today heading into Sunday Night Football, with the final game being the Minnesota Vikings to beat the Atlanta Falcons. Tom hits me up, texts our group chat, one of the group chats we have, which is already miserable about Notre Dame football, but Tom's like, Paul, I'm the biggest Viking fan in the world tonight. And I looked over his situation. I was like, Tom, please hedge. I'm begging you to put $2,000 on the Falcons. I've seen this story.
You could have put more on.
You can put whatever you want. You could do. Yeah, I've seen this story with the Viking. You don't know what it's like. I know you're a Lions fan, but it's a different world, man. Different miseries. There's the Lions of utter, just complete numbness usually, which they moved on from. They're not there anymore, but that's what they're used to. And then there's ours. Heartbreak. Not saying that heartbreak is worse than numbness. I think I'd rather have the heartbreak than numbness because you feel something at least. But I was like, Tom, please bet the money. Called him up, begged him. And Tom, for some reason, Tom's like, you know what, Paul? I don't really gamble much. I have $200 in the account. I'm just gonna hedge with that. I was like, no, please, I'm begging. Called him up before the game. He's like, no, I'm writing this out. And Tom ultimately walked away with $600, which is, fine for a $25 bet. But as far as the walking away with, a guaranteed $5 or $8 grand, I was pretty upset with him. It was brutal. It was brutal. All right. And how about...
I have one question before we get back to our more serious analysis.
Is it serious analysis tonight? Okay.
Who was a more effective kicker? John Parker Romo. Really incredible kicker, right? 5 for 5, had an awesome game filling in. He's going to be an NFL kicker somewhere. Or the Minnesota Vikings kicking us in the nuts.
Dude,
I'm just asking. God. I'm just asking. Yeah, we've got a bunch of F's in the chat for Tom Monroe. We appreciate it.
Yeah, dude. We just get
fate. Just
the nut shots that we get watching the Vikings are unbearable. Oh my gosh, it's horrible. Yeah, it's been a really, really bad since January 13th. Basically, football has just been utter hell. Vikings annihilate against the Rams. Notre Dame loses the championship, but that
Green
first
Bay
drive,
gets Micah Parsons.
But that first drive in the national championship, 10-play drive to take, dude, great drive. Other than that, though, Yeah, Packers get Parsons. The fourth quarter against the Bears is pretty sweet, but I mean, yeah, I think our teams are we're 0-2 in the playoff games. Vikings are 1-1 now, so 1-3. We're 1-5 since then. We had a season where we lost 4 games total, and we've lost 5 of our last 6. It's just, oh my gosh, Ziggy. Oh, I'm so excited. All right. Enough of the pity party here. Winter is coming. Yeah. Okay. What, see, this is, I really appreciate this super chat from Mary Bister here. Genuinely feel bad for you guys. I might be a Packers fan, but I'm also a Cubs fan, and I know what it's like to have generations of your family live and die without your team winning at all. JJ will be better. Much love. That's a super nice comment. But that's like the saddest thing to me is when you have people who truly feel bad for you apologize. Like today when we were going to get on, dropped you off at the airport. I'm waiting in line to get on the plane, taking trains to the terminals, and I'm just getting texts from people at 8 a.m. That's like, dudes, terrible Notre Dame game. Oh, Paul, feel so bad for you. And I'm like, all right, I can't do this. Like,
I was wearing a little bit of Notre Dame clothing, and I had an A&M fan pat me on the back in the airport and say it'll be okay.
Oh my gosh.
I know what it's like. We had so many bad years of Jimbo. Don't worry about it.
No. You're get away from me, man.
It's like, I mean, I get what you're after, but come.
Oh, someone says you'll always have Rudy. Hey, you know what? At least tonight, at least it's not like the other game.
At least Rudy beat Georgia Tech.
Yeah, that was nice. No, it's been, oh god. All right, what's some of the?
We've got more super chats than we could possibly get through here, but I'll do our absolute best to get through them. I mean, we've got a whole bunch. You got Jason Clabb saying, "Gotta send you some love because I so look forward to your misery when the Vikings lose. Go Pack, go!"
Bro,
how much do you miss Sam Darnold now?
I right now at this very point in time, I do miss Sam Darnold because I thought Sam was really good. I think we were capped with Sam. I'm not sure. Like, let us know in the chat, and you tell me, Ziggy, if the Vikings have Sam Darnold with this team, do you think that we can go on a run in the playoffs and beat the Packers, Lions, and Eagles? Probably 2 of the 3 of them. Like, that's what you need to do, and I'd say it's possible, but unlikely. Now, the obvious response to that is, okay, Paul, shut up. JJ's not doing that either. But we're talking about which road has the greater potential to lead to a Super Bowl. I don't know if Sam does. JJ probably doesn't, and it's off to a bad start. But that's more of an unknown. I think there might be more of a chance in the unknown there. Okay.
Doe Soldier says after this performance, we should start Carson Wentz. And Sponge asks, how many losses till we start Carson Wentz?
Stop. We're not starting Carson Wentz.
When people say, like Tom Grossi said that earlier, we should trade for Kirk Cousins. I at least understand what he's saying. I don't agree with that. I don't think that makes sense. Carson Wentz?
No, they're both wrong. Carson Wentz is wrong.
No, I'm not.
And Kirk Cousins is wrong.
I at least get Kirk Cousins.
No. There's no. I mean, look. So Tom's argument was the Vikings are too talented right now to waste it on a season of McCarthy. Is 36-year-old Kirk coming off the worst season of his career the answer? No, it's not. But there's a world where Kirk comes in, plays well, but it's probably not going to happen. Is Carson Wentz coming in the end? No, not now. Talk to me in 7 weeks if JJ's terrible. And then we could revisit this, but this is JJ's team, and Vikings fans, as foolish as it might be, and this is where all the Packers fans are gonna love this because they're gonna be like, "All right, get in line, you idiot." But I'm standing behind JJ McCarthy, and I'm gonna be like, "All right, I'm with you, man. I'm not giving up."
Rossi is just a huge Kirk Cousins fan because he keeps trying to get some team to trade for Kirk Cousins so he can start there.
Well, I'm the biggest.
Respect. I'm a big Kirk fan.
I stood up in my house and applauded when they showed him on the television. I have 2 Kirk Cousins shirts. There's a Kirk Cousins picture hanging up right here. But no, I mean I don't think Kirk is the answer.
You've got Jacob Underhill in here. Vikings will lose to the Bears. Paul, buy a beer.
Yeah, I'll bet you a beer.
Chose the default. Malik Willis is way ahead of JJ McCarthy. I'm not sure I like that. I do like what Carver has to say, though. Hang in there. The season's young. JJ's only in his 2nd game, from a Seahawks fan who watched Sam Darnold struggle last week and play really well this week.
No, that is the only approach that we can take. I love how these shows, this is how it goes. And you guys, I really do appreciate it. Thank you very much because these are like almost a therapy session after the game. It's like get it all out there and move on. And please remember to subscribe to the show, which we've got over 23,000. How about that? Over 23,000. Thank you everyone for helping us out there. Let's go. Let's hit 24. But as I was saying, yeah, these are great for therapy. But the only answer right now, and I'm deviating from the complete misery off the top of the show. Yeah, you just need to say this is a bad week. And it has to be better next week, though. The Bengals defense is not very good. I know the Falcons defense is not as good as we made them look tonight, but it has to get better. And today was a big step back.
For that matter.
Yeah, today. Oh, yeah. No, I know. Today was a big step back from the fourth quarter. Huge step back. How about we score a touchdown? Is that too much to ask?
I'm willing to not score a touchdown for the rest of the season if JJ McCarthy can just look like he belongs in this offense.
Okay, Christopher DeMarco, JJ NFL Player of the Week again. Let's. All right. Yes, I know it's Nick Spencer. It's going to be a bad. I have the feeling too that's going to be a long year for us, but I think we can beat the Bengals. Is that crazy? Can I say I think we can beat the Bengals without Joe Burrow, or am I a lunatic?
I will say I do think Jake Browning might be the second best backup in the NFL behind Malik Willis.
Stop it.
Malik Willis, I mean, those are two very effective backups. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no,
I'm trying to see right now. There's no odds, but before this game, the Bengals are 1.5 point favorites going into Minnesota.
They're 1.5 point favorites.
That was before this game.
Oh God, what do we have in the live line?
The line is not out yet.
The dumbest, one of the dumbest sportsbook moves I've ever seen, and I am, I'm not ashamed to say this as a Viking fan. When they moved us to number 2 in the NFC North above the Lions for odds to win, this is what I mean by overreactions, right? Everyone comes out and says the Lions are dead. They win by 40 points this week. And now we'll see the odds. I'm sure Green Bay is still favored, but I bet Detroit's not plus 480 or 450, whatever they were. And we're going to move from plus 270. What are we, 290? We'll move from that. I don't know how far down.
Plus 700?
Are we 7? So we moved from plus 2.
No, I think that's where we'll be. It's not out yet.
Sure. And this is what I mean. Like, if we come out and JJ throws 4 touchdowns against the Bengals next week, everyone, it's just the reactions are crazy.
So, yeah, well, Packers right now are minus 185 to win the division. Lions plus 370. Vikings plus 550.
Sorry, Vikings are boned. Wait, someone says, Paul, Ziggy is dropping hints he's secretly a Packers fan. I'm not getting that from Ziggy tonight.
What?
I'm not getting that.
I'm no.
Are you dropping hints? I mean,
no.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Do we have a couple more of the super chats in there?
We've got a few more. We've got a few more of these I'd like to get to. Heretical Games is saying we don't want you guys to become Packers fans. They don't say us a taunt. They want us to become Packers fans because they're tired of us suffering.
Well, that's really
Thanks
nice.
for the super chat.
Right? Is that nice? I
don't think it is.
No.
I mean, I know they think it's nice. I think it's ill intention, but we have to be who we are, not who they want us to be.
Okay, I can get behind well-intentioned, but ultimately trying to change who we are. But misguided, yes, I can get behind that. Okay.
Mark Brown says JJ McCarthy looks like he didn't learn anything in his redshirt year. I agree. It looks like that on the field.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's bad. I wonder if Carson Matsky, who says Eric Wilson playing well, is related to Lucas, who was used to be an editor with us before. I wonder. Interesting. Hey, Eric Wilson playing well. He had a nice punch out tonight, but there were also quite a few times, and Bijan again, yeah, he's explosive, but there were a few times where Eric missed some tackles and Pace got blown up a few times in the whole. I was expecting the Vikings front 7, particularly the front 4, to get a lot more pressure than they have through 2 games. Were you?
Yes.
I thought that they would be what the Falcons were doing to the Vikings tonight. I thought the Vikings would do to the Falcons, and this all comes back to 2 backups and one of them being a third stringer playing. Like, they were dominated, and in football, it's right. Bill Belichick says this. It doesn't have to be, while it's a super complicated game, it does not need to be the most complex game on planet Earth. If you have an advantage and I'm sorry, if the other team has a big weakness, attack it, attack it, attack it. And that's what Atlanta did with our backup center and our backup left tackle. And they made JJ McCarthy's life miserable. And JJ, well, I do think he has the mental fortitude to not take himself out of a game. I also think that, like any person on earth, he can start to realize that, I don't have it right now. And the Falcons never let him get into any sort of rhythm tonight. And that's because they beat the crap out of the two guys on the line that couldn't do anything. So the crowd was there. I mean, both the Notre Dame and Viking games this weekend, the crowd was there, did their part, and the guys just didn't show up. And
well, this gets to a question that Nico asked, which is, who's the heart and soul of this Vikings team? Because in moments like this, you need someone to step up. And I think in the Bears game, JJ McCarthy did a pretty good job stepping up and taking care of it. I really thought it was going to be someone on the defensive line tonight. Michael Penix has been up and down. The Falcons, obviously their interior offensive line is good, but it's been up and down. I thought it'd be someone on the defense stepping up and making a big play. And it just didn't happen.
The answers to this question are defensively Harrison Smith and Josh Metellus, right? That's the defensive side. And offensively, it's some combination. Offensively, it's a little weird. Like, obviously, Jefferson is a very big part. Obviously, JJ being quarterback, he's a big part. I think Aaron Jones is very well respected in the locker room. Brian O'Neill is definitely one of those guys as a captain. I think Brian O'Neill is a good answer as well to that. But if you had to pick offensively, like, who's the heart of this team, I'd probably say it's Harrison Smith, who wasn't there tonight.
On the field tonight, the answer was no one.
On the field, the answer was no one. But I mean, like, I guess if you look across the teams, like, who's the heart of the Packers right now?
I mean, it's got to be Micah, right?
I guess.
Micah, Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, you probably.
On the defense, it's clearly Micah Parsons.
Yeah, I think that Micah.
Throw in Xavier McKinney if you want.
Sure. Detroit, Hutchinson. I mean, Branch. Branch is, dude, oh my God.
Yeah.
Baller. Branch
the
and
running
Hutchinson.
Goff. Goff.
Yeah, Goff is good.
Like, Goff
Amon-Ra. I mean, they all have a lot of.
I
don't know how many. Like, a lot of teams have a lot of different guys who play that role, and so I don't think the Vikings right now, offensively, I'm not sure who. It's probably Jefferson. It's probably Jefferson, but I do love Brian O'Neill. But it's a good point because you didn't see that tonight. I'm sorry. I think the answer is going to wind up being JJ McCarthy. And you saw that in the fourth quarter of the Bears game when he got going and he was amped up. That team was fired up around him, but it wasn't there tonight. And part of JJ being in the heart of the team, you could have your heart on fire and have the confidence of a lion, whatever you want to say. But if you're not playing well, at some point, Justin Jefferson is going to go, all right, he doesn't have it tonight. And that was the case. So, what else we got in the chat here?
Doug Hype TV's coming in. Guys, you were in fantastic position as full-fledged Packers fans.
Stop. For 7 quarters of the year, Doug, I've had people texting me saying, you know how much better your life would be as a Packer fan? I get it. We all know that the Packers have a better. We all know.
We're gonna get to that. I'm gonna group a couple together here. Jake Ednamus says they're surprised that the Vikings had a worse performance than the Bears, and
so am I. I am too.
Chat. Someone asked if our NFC, or this is from Kyle Thomas, asked if the NFC North power rankings have changed. I still think the Vikings are a better team than the Bears. Maybe this is delusional cope, but I don't think we had a much worse performance today than Chicago. Do you? Like, Chicago maybe kept it a little bit closer against the Lions, but they got the brakes beaten off of them all the same. Maybe the Lions are better than the Falcons, but they lost a whole lot worse.
I think oh my gosh. I mean, they did lose by 30. It's hard to, it is, this is like Packer and Lions dream right here. As 2 Vikings fans sit around and say, what was worse? The Vikings having 130 yards of offense and losing by 15 to the Falcons at home on Sunday Night Football, or the Bears losing by 30 to Detroit. I think Oh gosh, the Bears loss was just so they thought they could win today and to lose by. I think the Vikings was actually a little worse. Like we just looked, the offense was so bad that it was just the Bears at least had they had an 8-yard or 8-play touchdown drive to open it up. Like they were both terrible. All right, you could pick your poison here. And it's who said it here? Ricky Ness, Vikings are so bad in the throwback jerseys. I said it before the game started. My dad said, "Oh man, I love these jerseys tonight." And Coots, our good buddy Will Coots, said he was going to wear his Chris Carter Viking jersey to his 730 Tavern in Boston, which is a Viking bar. Actually, do we have it right here? Does it say? Yeah, Skull Boston right here at the top, or right in front of the Viking helmet. He was like, "I'm going to wear the Chris Carter throwback." I said, "Don't do it, Will." Like, I'm sorry. Actually, sorry. I told him to do it because it was. I said wear that or the other shirt or the other purple shirt he had. He was trying to pick one, but I told him just so you know we play horrible in these throwbacks. So great point. Oh gosh, it's horrible. All right, we have a few more.
We have a few more. For the record, our fans are overwhelmingly saying the Bears are the worst team.
Yeah, I mean, and that's worst team or worst performance today, or both?
I was asking which team you think is worse.
I think
in
the
the power
Bears
rankings of the NFC.
Yeah, I still rank it Packers, Lions, Vikings, Bears. But there is a very, very clear gap from the first two teams and the second two teams. Bob Slob, that's a great name. Have either of you ever attended a game in Green Bay? No. But we will in November. But
can we cancel that?
I don't know. I was thinking about that today. I was like, I don't know if I want to show face in Green Bay.
If I go, I have to wear a Packers jersey.
Well, yeah, but you did that to yourself, and that was on you. That was on you for challenging 35 people in the Tour de France.
I beat 34.
To be fair, you did. All right, hold on. What's our record going to be at this Packer game? So we're 1-1 right now. All right. We're going to beat the Bengals. We're going to beat the Steelers. We're going to beat the Browns. So we'll be 4-1. We will lose at home to the Eagles. We'll lose on Thursday Night Football in LA against the Chargers, 4-3. We'll lose at Detroit, 4-4. We'll lose hosting the Ravens, 4-5. We will beat the Bears at home, 5-5. So we'll be 5-5 taking on Green Bay in Green Bay with games against the Seahawks, Commanders, Cowboys, Giants, Lions, and Packers left. Okay. 5-5 with the chance to be 6-5. I mean, that's flirting with the playoffs, flirting with a wild card if we can win that game. And then I think we can beat a few of those other teams.
What are you doing?
Hold on. So 5-5 going into Green Bay. The Packers will be. They're two. All right. I don't know if I want to do that. The Packers are 2-0 right now. They will beat the Browns 3-0. They will beat the Cowboys 4-0. They will beat the Bengals at home without Burrow 5-0. They will beat the Cardinals on the road 6-0. They'll probably beat the Steelers. They'll probably beat the Panthers. There's no way they're going to be 8-0, is there?
I'm okay talking to optimistic Paul. I am not okay talking to delusional Paul.
Eagles at home on, is this Monday Night Football? I think. Giants. All right, so
are you like no, Paul?
So the 5-5 Vikings will be taking on the 9-1 Packers.
Paul, I am having flashbacks to being an undergraduate at Notre Dame when we got blown out by Miami, and you said, "Here's how we can still make the playoffs."
No, that's not what I said. We lost, and I want to be very clear about this one, and because I've been right. I think I know Notre Dame football, not the ins and outs. Like I'm a very big fan. I've been to the last 6 Notre Dame football games, 5, but I'm not I'm not studying the chats and stuff like that, the forums. I said our freshman year after we lost to Georgia that. And this should apply, okay? This is good. This should apply to the. I can't believe I had the Packers like 10-0, 9-1. That's ridiculous. I said there's a huge difference in college football in the way you think about teams in September and the way you view teams in November. A 6-game winning streak, same thing with football. It's so reactionary. If you win 6 in a row, people think about you completely different. Beginning of the season, it really doesn't matter. People might yell at me like. Obviously you'd rather win than lose. Duh. But when we lost to Georgia our freshman year, I said, if we win out, we're going to go to the playoff. Like, that's going to happen. And we were the number 3 team in the country with 3 games left. We lost. Season was over. Same thing happened a couple years ago. We lost early in the season. Last year, Northern Illinois, we lost. Everyone says season's over. Look at the schedule. We should really win all these games. Team had a fire lit in its heart. We go to the national championship. So what I'm saying this year, 0-2 is a bad hole. But what was worse, these 2 losses or Northern Illinois? What do you think? Can you even hear me
These
anymore?
2 losses.
Yeah. So it's probably close, though. If Notre Dame wins down, they're 10-2. They're going to be in the discussion.
I'm going to be 100% real with you. All right, you went through the schedule, and we're talking about us going 8-0. I'm going to give you what I honestly think. I honestly do not think we beat the Bengals next week. I honestly do not think we beat the Steelers. I think Joe Flacco will be replaced, so we have a chance of beating the Browns. I'll call that a win. We don't beat the Eagles. We don't beat the Chargers. We don't beat the Lions. We don't beat the Ravens. We beat the Bears. I've got 3 wins there. I don't know where you're getting 5.
I just told you the 5.
You think we're going to go 2-0 against the Bengals and the Steelers? You think Aaron Rodgers isn't going to have a revenge game against the Minnesota Vikings?
Why?
You think
he didn't do it last year?
He's going to do it this year. He was on the Jets last year.
The Steelers, forget the Steelers for now, and that'll be, oh my gosh, Jack and I, we're beating the Bengals next week.
It might be
you
the
can
worst
mark
week
it down.
of this show.
You can mark it down right now. We're beating Jake Browning and the Cincinnati Bengals.
No, we're not.
Browning threw 3 picks
I would say
today.
Just about anything on us not beating them.
I think you're going to get a better J.J. McCarthy next week. I really, I need a better J.J. McCarthy next week.
We're not beating the Bengals. Stop doing this to yourself. When we lose to the Bengals next week,
if we lose to the Bengals next week, then I'm going to have a full-on crash out on the season. But we're not losing that football game. And everyone in the chat knows it here. Everyone in the chat is just trying to rage bait.
I'm going to put it to a poll.
Yeah, this is going to be classic rage bait right here from everybody. Hair shave. I'm not doing a hair. I do need to get a haircut pretty soon, but no. We're going to beat the Bengals. Everyone in this chat knows that Jake Browning is going to get lit up at US Bank Stadium, and we just need to be acceptable on offense. That's happening. And if you vote on the Bengals, that's just because you're trying to piss me off. And you know what? It's working.
We're not winning. I'm not trying to piss you off. I don't know about the chat. We are not beating the Bengals next week. I don't know why you think we're going to beat Jamar Chase. You think we're going to beat T. Higgins?
I think we're going to beat Jake Browning.
We're worse than the Jaguars.
You know, I secretly have wanted this revenge game. Obviously, I'm not wishing Joe Burrow any ill will. But Jake Browning was really pissing me off when he was walking around saying, like, y'all shouldn't have cut me a couple of years ago. So this game, personally, has been circled for me.
He owns the Vikings.
Well, that was the game. Oh, my God. You know what? It really all...
17-3. He did what we do. They were down 17-3, and he beat us.
It really all fits in perfectly. And that's when the nightmare started that year, right? That's when we finally started to blow up the year without Kirk. But here's where it all pulls together nicely. What was one of the big things that I said we were messing up tonight? And I'm doing a nice job not cursing out here. And generally speaking, I try not to curse. I think it's nice to keep a clean mouth. But what was one of the problems tonight was the 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, the sneaking, all of that nonsense. Do you remember that Bengals game? How we lost? We tried to sneak it twice on 3rd and 4th and 1 and couldn't gain a yard. That was one of the core memories of us being incompetent from a yard out. So is Buffalo in the game we won in Buffalo. So I'm walking down a dangerous path here. But forget all of that. Next weekend in US Bank Stadium, we are going. I wish Addison was back. Addison being back will help. But we're going to beat the Bengals. I believe. All right.
Wait, isn't Addison only suspended 3 games? Isn't he going to be back for this?
He's suspended 3 games. This is week 3.
Sorry.
That's
this feels like it's been 3 games.
This does. Watching tonight was really hard. It's been 7 quarters of almost unwatchable football.
Not almost. Frankly, I will be honest with you. If it were not our job to talk about this game, I would not have made it through. I would have turned the game off in the middle of the 3rd quarter.
Trey Hendrickson is literally going to kill JJ on the field. We need Darisaw back, or that might be true. Can please come back, Christian? Please come back.
We need you. I don't think
we need you.
I know we don't need to tell Christian Darrisaw how much we need him, but
no, we need
Christian. If you were in the chat right now,
someone send this to Christian Darrisaw
right now. Click subscribe.
I'm begging you to come back. Please come back. Please come back. We need that so badly. We need all of them. We need. This is like an Avengers Assemble. It's week 3 of the season, Ziggy, and we're calling for an Avengers Assemble. It's insanity.
I mean, look, I'll tell you this: the Avengers assembled very early into Infinity War, and it wasn't until Endgame that it paid off. But it also didn't pay off until 5 years in the future, which is maybe how long we're going to need to wait for JJ McCarthy to put together a complete game of football.
I'm gonna try and remain. You know what? I'm gonna save the true on the Christian's a Packers fan. Shut up. I'm gonna save the full on despair for a loss to the Bengals because then it goes downhill real fast. Like must win. You know what? Must win.
If we lose to the Bengals, I'm not sure we can do a live because the channel might get demonetized.
I don't think over the next month of football. Bengals, Steelers, Browns, and then obviously Notre Dame's whole season. It is all must win. We have 3 straight weeks of must win football across the board. One loss, and it truly ends. I mean, I marked the end of the competitiveness tonight at 10:54 on September 14th, but it's must win now. So, all right. One more call to everyone. If you're enjoying this live stream tonight, which it seems like people are having quite a bit of fun at our expense here, please remember to hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate everybody who hits that, and it's been a great. Someone goes, wait, this isn't full on despair, dude. Have you seen?
I don't think anybody. I mean, we blew up like 2 years ago. If you haven't been here since like before 200 or 300 subs, I don't think you've seen full on despair Paul before. You do not know how bad it can get.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you want to see it, like, go watch like the Lions and Rams reactions last year. That's like,
no, that was not full on despair, Paul. I have seen you in full on sports despair. I have seen it worse than that.
Yeah,
if we lose to the Bengals next week, you will be lower than that.
I don't know. I can't be not lower than the Rams game. The Rams game was just. The Lions game was actually probably the worst. The Rams game, I knew it was coming because I watched the Lions game. It's like this is how it goes. You know, this is how it always goes with us. You kind of start off here. I'm trying to make sure you can see this. You kind of start off here, get a little spike in August of excitement. September comes, you immediately plummet. You almost always immediately plummet. But then you come back up, and like the Vikings keep it interesting. Then what they'll do is somewhere along the line, you'll have that peak. And it's usually right when you start, like right when you're here and you start to believe, that's when you have the full-on plummet to hell. And that was the Lions game last year. It took a little longer. Like, you know, sometimes it's a different path to getting to that peak to fall. But yeah, I was fully on. I thought we were going to be the 1 seed and that we might win the Super Bowl. And within, what was it? Within 7 days, we were eliminated from the playoffs and got our ass kicked. So, yeah, Quinn Winkler, go Brewers. Look, I'm all for the Brewers doing well. I guess he was banned from the chat, but
no, I for 10 seconds. Just we can't be spamming. We can't be spamming.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I'm fine with the Brewers doing well. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that last interception was bad.
I mean, this is just what's tough. Is it's like. I'm not really full on despair yet. I think here's what's actually explaining this, Paul. I think you were a little confused about why I was so down.
Tonight?
No, just like why I was so aggressive about how JJ McCarthy's not going to work out. This team's a disaster. We're only going to win like 2 more games for the rest of the season. I'll tell you why I'm there. It's the Minnesota Vikings. Once things start to go wrong, this is what you got right, is once things start to go really wrong, they don't get better for us. We can disguise it for a long period of time, but once things really start going downhill, has there ever been a Viking season where things started really, really going downhill and then turn around? Can you remember a season like that?
It started really, really downhill.
And then we
turned around.
ended up pretty good at the end of the season.
The year where Teddy tore his leg was pretty horrendous. Like, destroyed his leg. He blew up his knee, and Bradford came in. We beat up the Saints, but then we lost to Pittsburgh. We were 1-1, and then
but that's different.
And then Keenum took over. I mean, that, like, yeah, we weren't 0-4 to start the year or anything, but like losing two of your two quarterback, like blown up knee, trade first round pick. That guy gets hurt too after looking great, and then you lose to Pittsburgh and are 1-1. Like, that was bad. But it wasn't like 0-3 or 1-3, like climbing out of the pit. Oh, I mean, yeah, you know what the year was? The Kirk year, 2 years ago, when Kirk tore his Achilles. We were 1-3 or 1-4, whatever it was, and we got back to 6-4, beating the crap out of the Packers. Yeah, but when Kirk tore his Achilles, like that was it, and that was in line with the natural progression of Vikings, because we were totally here. Different. I fist bumped my father in the car and said, "We can win the Super Bowl." When we were beating up the Packers. And 30 minutes later, Kirk Cousins was on the ground with a torn Achilles. That is here to here. That was horrible. Oh, my gosh. But yeah, I mean, Ziggy, you're totally rational for not believing. Like,
this team just does this to us. That is my issue, I guess. And that's why it's just hard for me to...
Yeah. All right. I understand. I understand. And I'm sorry.
All we have to say.
And I'm sorry if I snapped.
No, Paul, we're both sort of on edge tonight. This was tough.
You know what's worse though? Being a Cincinnati Bengals fan tonight. If Burrow's out 3 months, if that's true, that rumor, I haven't looked too into it.
No, I mean, that actually would have me sitting thinking, what's the point?
Yeah, that is...
Like, if JJ McCarthy, the same injury happened to him, I would just sit back and say, I mean, it's different with Joe Burrow, right? They don't have an offensive line. How many years has he been with the Bengals? He was drafted in 2020.
No, the what if is always the... And look, if he's out 3 months...
Your season's over.
They're in a lot of trouble, and now we're talking 2 of the last 3 years. He's had big injuries, and last year... Obviously, they had like 1-5, or they had the horrible start to the year.
This was the year they're going on with Trey Hendrickson too. He's not coming back.
There's absolutely, if you're a Bengals fan tonight, you're just going like, what? Because it's actually worse. It's even worse than I'm not sure. Again, you could pick like Bears pain versus Bengals pain here. I'm trying to think of where the Bears, you have these hopes and it's never comes to fruition just over the last 3 years. But with the Bengals, it's like, this team should be in Super Bowl contention, and you just keep having injuries and things go wrong last second. Like, that is a tough franchise right now to root for. So, all right, why don't we wrap it up there, Ziggy? It's about 12:15 in the morning here on the East Coast. We've been going for quite a while, but I think it was good therapy for the two of us. Do you have any closing thoughts before we wrap this thing up?
I have 2 thoughts. One is our chat is pretty on board with Cincinnati having the worst pain of the day. The Chicago and Minnesota are a little bit closer than I'd think. Mm-hmm. The second thing is just like, look, there's a chance that this is the low point of the season. I think there's a solid chance that's the case. Not because this is like the worst game we play, because this is where it felt like the rug of hope was ripped out from under us.
There he is.
So, like, that's why I feel so bad. I could believe... For the record, the people saying turf toe's not all season. This is a severe enough turf toe that he might need surgery, and foot surgery is what would take him.
But I thought I saw, and again, I apologize because I haven't seen the report. He's going to get a second
opinion and the rest.
But yeah, and if he doesn't get the surgery, it's just going to be a few weeks, right?
Well, it'll be a few weeks, but it will severely limit his mobility when he comes back.
Yeah.
But in any case, the reason this feels so bad as a Vikings fan, I had a lot of hope for the season. I think you did too, Paul. And it feels like this was the game where sort of that I found out that the Wizard of Oz is actually just a little man with some green curtains and lights. Like, this season is not going to be what I hoped it would be, which is the Vikings play really good football at the gate. The team lifts up JJ McCarthy. He operates at a high level. We compete for the division. That doesn't mean the season has to be a failure, because Bears fans are going through the same thing right now. They thought Ben Johnson would immediately turn things around. And what did we say to them? We said success always had to be Caleb playing well.
Yep.
If there is a chance JJ McCarthy continues to improve. There's a good chance he continues to improve. How much, we'll see. But I can't step back and say the season's over, everything's miserable. I hope and I believe that this will be the lowest point of the season.
I hope so too, Ziggy. And you're right, and we've said this a few times now for both the Vikings and the Bears. I mean, it's kind of obvious, right, with the quarterback position, but those teams around Caleb, around Caleb and JJ are solid teams, right? And they should continue to get better as the year goes on, get a little healthier in Minnesota. Those two teams are not going anywhere unless we see vast improvement from their QBs, who are with, you have to hope, if you're a fan of either team, some of the best offensive minds in the sport. So give it a little bit of time. These things don't happen overnight unless you're a special player.
Or you're Jordan freaking Love.
Or you're Jordan Love. So I'm not panicking yet, but I'm a little unhappy with it's a disappointing night. So
would discourage be the right word? I feel discouraged.
Yeah, so do I. I'm just disappointed. I wanted to really, I wanted to put on a show tonight. I wanted to walk away from this game going like, okay, JJ can play. First 3 quarters of Chicago were not who he is, and tonight that's what we looked like. So, all right, we'll wrap it up there. We'll wrap it up there. So we appreciate everybody listening tonight. Yeah, just looking at these chats, it's a good end. Dark, we'll end it with this. Heads up, guys. Remember, it took Love about 3.5 seasons to show how good he really could be. So, all right, we'll get there. And we'll see you guys, I guess, probably in a couple days. Yeah, with Andy Herman or NFL Reaction for the NFC North. See ya. All right. Pretty good. 11,000. Let me just end the recording.
Solid.